remember when we used to have on Trent Dilfer all the time, and then he got so big and
A true friend of the show.
well, but now he's hardly ever on anymore.
We used to talk about him even when he wasn't coming on.
Right, because we love Trent Dilfer. We were the Trent Dilfer fan club. But now you got to get online.
Now you have to start over. Is he willing to start over?
I don't know. Trent, are you willing to start over?
Yeah, it's not a me issue. You guys have fallen in love with Steve Young. I sit there every week and
You know
listen
what?
to Steve do his spot with you guys.
We can't
You guys
deny that. He
like
is
little schoolgirls.
He is a tremendous guest.
We do love us some Steve Young, but that doesn't cheapen our love of you.
I kind of feel like it does, though.
Do we have to
I talk about
choose?
Steve's shadow all the time. He's got the yellow jacket. I'm the worst quarterback ever won a Super Bowl. Everywhere we go, it's like going with Bon Jovi with Steve Young and Ray Lewis. And I'm the sidekick.
But you know what? When that Monday night crew's there, all three have Super Bowl
There
rings.
you go.
Like Don went to Ramapo, I went to Fordham, and he goes, "We're in the same room. Doesn't matter."
That's it. You're in the same room.
I love you guys, man. Let's talk.
Well, let's talk first the Big Blue Report, brought to you by Conair for Men. Why did the Giants get spanked the way they did on Sunday? We never saw that coming.
I didn't see it coming. I do think the Eagles are very good, and they really, really mess with you defensively. They kind of break your rules defensively with how they play football offensively, so you're kind of in a catch mode, for lack of a better term. I thought they had moved the ball. They showed such great signs of kind of getting in rhythm with this West Coast. Now, I will say this. I learned this when I played in the West Coast with Holmgren, and I was kind of getting a crash course. And the way I learned the West Coast was I'd ask them all the history questions. I'd go back to Young and Montana and Favre and blah, 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 because I wanted to become an expert in the West Coast. And I learned very quickly, if you can attack the A-gaps in pass protection, you can really neutralize the West Coast passing game. And it takes kind of it takes graduate level understanding of the West Coast to then counter that move. And that's what you saw Philly do, is they attacked right in the middle of the Giants' offensive line. Because all those throws are no-hitch, one-hitch throws. So as soon as you have to move right or left off your spot, the timing of the West Coast breaks down. And what the great West Coast quarterbacks would do is when they had to move off the spot, they would then escape. And now you become a second reaction scramble mode offense. And the Giants don't have that. So they have to be, with Eli, they got to really protect the A-gaps for this passing game to work because it's a no-hitch, one-hitch ball game. And he doesn't have that escapability to then go get on the edges and create the second reaction offense. So not to get you technical, but that was a great job by Philly exposing that lack of understanding that the Giants have of this passing game.
So is it correctable?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's very correctable. You'll see backs inserted. You'll see some different formations to protect it. You'll see some different run opportunities now to take advantage of those A-gap situations. Like anything in football, it's chess, right? They're going to do one thing. You have a counter move to it. Create a couple gash plays in the run game or action game, and you can run teams out of that rather quickly.
All right, now try to convince Cowboy fans that want to feel euphoric about the start that it's not going to end up the way it always ends up. Why is this year going to be different?
I don't think they have any flaws offensively. I do think this Dallas team is made up very much like the great Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl teams. Alpha receiver, very athletic, big offensive line, a tight end that just dominates zone coverage and still win versus man, and also can be an inline tight end. A quarterback that now, not being asked to be Superman all the time, is very, very efficient, and now you're asking him to make less superhero plays, will also make less mistakes. Auxiliary skill guys that will make big plays down the field, whether it was Alvin Harper or whoever for the Cowboys of the past. Now you have Terrence Williams and others. Offensively, they're going to be one of the best offenses in football. Defensively, I would still be concerned when attrition sets in. They're playing now with backups in the starting roles that are playing really good football. But what about when those guys get banged up? I think they're gonna take their lumps defensively as the year goes on. I don't see him getting better. I see him at best maintaining this level of play, but probably struggling at times when they start getting banged up. But that whole division, three of the teams in that division, because I do think the Giants are going to be pretty good. The Eagles are for real, and I think the Cowboys are for real.
Talking to Trent Dilfer here on the Michael Kay Show. Let's go to the Jets. They're probably going to have to make a decision at the end of the year. Do we get Geno more weapons, or do we get rid of Geno? from what you've seen from this kid in his rookie year and the first 6 weeks of this year, do they have a quarterback they can build around for the future?
I'm not willing to go there, but I am willing to say you won't know that until you get him some weapons. I mean, we're trying to answer a question without all the right information. Is Geno the guy? Well, I don't know until I see him supported properly. At times I see it, and at times I throw up in my mouth like everybody else. It reminds me of how I played at times. So I just think it's a hard discussion. I think the mistake that was made was people thought the Jets were going to be good, and they said they were going to be good. And I think internally they didn't really believe it. I think internally they thought, wow, good might be 8-8. They just don't have the personnel offensively to be dynamic. And then defensively, that front seven, listen, it's really good, but you can't prove how good you are if you're not supported in the back end. And teams have figured that out. So you have two Achilles heels. You got the back end of your defense and your skill position people on offense. Those are two really hard things to overcome in a league that's now become more spread out, more about making dynamic plays. This formula could have worked in the 90s when football was played in a box on offense. And everything outside the 49ers and a couple other teams, everything was two backs, tight ends, tight scrum football. You could have maintained, you could have survived. Now the game is dynamic. It's spread out. It's fast. It's space. So you got to have people that dominate space. And that's what the Jets are lacking. So I know this is a Geno Smith question, but nobody can answer that until you give them some people that can play in space.
Very quickly about Jameis Winston, because we're running out of time with you. If you're an NFL team, would you take a chance with the crabs and the autographs and this and the investigation? Is he worth that kind of trouble?
I knew him at 17 very well. He was a part of my Elite 11. He was one of my favorite kids. And he was a great kid that I saw none of this happening. I'm gonna wait, and my wife has made sure. She said, hey, you make sure you know what's going on before you stand on the table for this kid. Jameis and I are going to have a long, long talk this offseason. Spend a lot of time together. I'm going to really find out, are these just knucklehead moves? Because we've all been knuckleheads. The Hall of Fame wouldn't have many quarterbacks if there was social media back in their day. So sometimes we blow up too much. The quarterback has to be the good guy, the best guy, Mr. Clean. I want to see if this is just childish knucklehead stuff or if there's a bigger, deeper issue there with Jameis, and I'm going to make sure I find that out this offseason.
One quarterback that would still be in Canton, even with social media, is your colleague Steve Young.
That's true. He is one of the greatest human beings. Honestly, he's one of the greatest human beings on the planet.
Fit as a fiddle, clean as well. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, tell us about this Panini Super Bowl kid reporter that you're involved with.
Yeah, real quick, and I don't do you guys know this, I don't do the promotion thing very much, but this thing's awesome. I get to work with Panini trading cards on their Panini Super Bowl Kid Reporter initiative. Now, I'm not going to read all this stuff. Basically, go to www.paninikidreporter.com. But what you do is you go into any major retailer, Target, Walmart, a hobby shop, purchase one of Panini's 2014 NFL trading card products. You register to get free tickets to the Super Bowl. Now, the downside of this is you have to spend time with me as I train you to be part of the media. And then after working with me, I'll take these youngsters. They'll go to media day. They'll push you guys out of the way in the big lines. And I'm going to teach these kids how to ask these players really smart football questions, get them involved in broadcasting, get them passionate about the good stuff about it. I just think it's a win-win for everybody. Really, really proud to be part of it. Panini's a great company, all about the kids. And if I'm going to promote anything, I'm going to promote something like this.
Very, very cool. So PaniniKidReporter.com. Before we let you go, what's the best football team in the NFL right now?
Oh, I hate this question. I hate this question. I'm going to answer because I like you guys.
Thank you.
It's hard.
I still go Seattle.
Interesting.
Yep. I don't go by wins or losses. I go by lasting. I want to know who's going to be the best in November and December. I still think they have the makeup to be the best in November and December.
Well, we miss talking to you. We really do, Trent.
Well, have Ryan bug me more often.
Yeah, Ryan. I think Ryan's a little intimidated by you. That's the deal.
He gets a little sensitive.
Yeah, he's very sensitive. Doesn't let me turn out.
He gets a little sad.
Yeah, very, very pouty. Take it easy. Guys. Have a good week.